There simply is no helicopter like the Cessna CH-1 Skyhook. Cessna built just 50 of these machines in the 1950s and 60s. A young Frank Robinson was one of the engineers who worked on the project. You know his name. He went on to make the Robinson R-22, the R-44 and more. But back to this strange 1950s machine with its nose-mounted piston engine. It was a record breaker. No piston helicopter has ever climbed higher. Cessna wanted to get it into Army service, which it did briefly, but it didn't really go anywhere from there. The company ended up cancelling the type certification and it bought back all the aircraft it could get its hands on and, well, scrapped them. But you can rewrite history and you can fly this machine anywhere in the world thanks to Cowan Simulation, which has developed the CH-1 for MSFS 2020. And I'm reviewing it here in MSFS 2024. And no, it doesn't yet have any of the native 2024 features like career mode or that walk-around functionality, but it has all the essential compatibility you need to fly. And as of April 2025, it's available for you to buy from the Cowan Sim website for US $25. And it should be along in the MSFS marketplace soon. So, how does it look? How does it sound? And how does it fly? Let's find out and let's fly. And tell me that doesn't look like a Cessna C-150 with a rotor stuck on the roof. Well, the reason for that is that this is, I think I'm fairly certain to say, the only helicopter you will have flown that has got its engine mounted in the nose. That's why this has a very unusual layout, this Cessna CH-1. Let's have a visual tour of what this Cowan Sim representation looks like. So we've got our Continental engine mounted in here. Now, this has been developed for MSFS 2020 and it does not have 2024 features like all the walk around, opening up the panels and clicking on this and checking the quality of that just yet. So I'll just have to make do with peering in here and seeing that it looks like they've put some, I guess I could just clip in through the scenery here and see that they have in fact put some effort into modelling that Continental engine. Is it a flat 6? Is that what it is? Looks like it. Yes. But I can't pop up the panels or anything and have a look in there, so I'm just going around with the drone camera right now. Bit of an automotive feeling about it, isn't it? With this almost like a grille on the front here with the landing light mounted there in the nose as well. Let's have a bit of a look around. Let's look at these textures. Resolution not bad. I'm guessing that's medium resolution, I'd call that. At any kind of reasonable distance there, it's not at all bothersome. They've made it quite grimy in appearance. We don't get any of that kind of dimensionality that we get in MSFS 2024, those incredible default textures and systems that they're using these days. I'm getting a bit of tearing in here in the glasswork. I'm not quite sure what's up with that, whether that's a 2024 compatibility issue or something else. Let me know how you go in the comments if you've had a different experience. I'm liking those sort of scratches and slightly beaten up appearance. Reasonable level of detail with rivets. None of this panel work looks entirely straight anymore. A large horizontal stabilizer on the CH-1. Now, this is a moving stabilizer. In this Cowan Sim representation, it is attached to the cyclic, by which I mean if I move the cyclic forward and aft, the stabilizer here will move up and down. A bit like a stabilator, I suppose you would say. I think in reality, the real aircraft, it was free floating with a stopper, so that it would float downwards at low speed and then float upwards at higher speed. And that allowed them to have a better center of gravity situation and therefore fit the aircraft with 4 seats. So I think that's what the horizontal stabilizer was all about on the CH-1. Guard there for protecting the tail rotor. Let's have a look at some of this modeling. Pretty good level of detail in here. Nice texturing as well. Actually, that's really good. That's a very good level of detail, I'm going to call that. It's an area that's easy for people to skimp on, I would say, back in this kind of area. Moving further forward, let's go and have a look at the main rotor system. Now, we're going to need someone with better aeronautical knowledge than me to explain this, because this is a rotor system that I've never seen before. I've never seen the likes of this before. It's not a rigid system. It's a sort of a uniquely hinged system here. And like some of the mechanism, I suppose, is hidden inside the rotor mast down here, and I can't quite see how all the sort of swash plate or equivalent works here. I can see these kind of links coming up in here to drive these sort of hinging mechanisms here. Really interesting looking system, all right. I understand it unique to the CH-1. I'm not sure that anyone else used a system like this. Let me know if I'm wrong. Fascinating looking structure though. And nicely modelled. Nice level of detail. I can get really close in there. And they've done it proud. Josh Cowan was saying that he has found manuals and I think drawings and historical details to help them recreate this machine, and they've done a good job. I mean, none of these are in flying condition anymore, and if there are any left in museums, they're not on public display, so oh, that's a nice touch. Yeah, worn there at the leading edge of the rotor blade. Good work, Cowan Sim people. Nice bit of dimensionality there along the blade as well. Good work. That's looking pretty good effort. Let's have a little look inside with the drone camera still. And there's a big door open. Yes, now look at that big old rotor mast coming right through the cabin. No other helicopters have anything like that, do they? You have to get used to that interfering with your view somewhat. Sitting here in the pilot seat, you've got this big thing right off to your left side of your vision there. And then also you've got that drive for the tail rotor coming through the middle of the cabin aft as well. So that's interesting as well, going through the middle of those 2 seats there. Reasonably spacious left to right, you've got to say. You're not too cramped, are you? You're not too cramped left and right there with passenger and pilot. Let's get into this panel. All custom gauges. And I think these gauges are actually looking really good. Very much of the time. Excellent resolution, I'd say. Nicely drawn. Nice dimensionality inside there as well. Handling the light beautifully. Good work on the gauges, Cowan Sim. Very happy with those. Some of them are repeated for the station on the side as well. So what have we got? We've got the airspeed and the rotor and engine RPMs, manifold pressure repeated. There is one instrument that is not seen to be required on the CH-1, and that is a vertical speed indicator. Goodness me. Imagine flying a helicopter without a VSI. Well, you don't have to imagine it, you can do it with this machine right here. A little bit of a radio stack here, some switches here for our electrics and lights. Very simple collective control here with a throttle grip. I think if I hop... Oh, no, there we go. Sorry, I'm a bit confused. There we go. There's our two. We've got a governor switch and a landing light switch. I'm not sure if the real machine had a governor or not, but the simulated one does. That makes our life a little bit easier. And that is the interior of our wonderful CH-1 Cessna Skyhook by Cowan Simulation. I think time to start this machine up. And because we are in lovely Friday Harbour in Washington State, I have chosen this Fantastic shark livery for our CH-1 Skyhook. In true Cowan Sim fashion, lots of liveries are included. There's a couple of US Army ones and lots of sort of retro 50s or 60s looking liveries. Some with the Cowan Sim logo on them, some without. I think you'll be able to find a livery that suits you. So anyway, this shark livery is what we'll go with for this. So let's hop inside and get on with starting up. Now, checklists. We do have this one here. So you've got this reasonably retro appearance paper checklist here with everything that you need on it. That's fine. We do also, of course, have this in MSFS 2024. It's just when we use this, we don't have the, the eyeball sort of thing where it tells you where it is. However, we do have a direction of where things are. And because there aren't so many things, and there's not so many hidden locations of things, it's not too hard to find our way around. So let's just run it like this. I think I'll just use this today. I have set up a couple of views to get me a bit closer down to the panel like this. So I'll do it like this. Right, battery switch starting up. Battery comes on. Generator is off. Governor switch on the collective head is off. The idle switch on the center console is off. That's in that condition is off. Throttle on the collective. I've got this on the slider on my stick, so I've got that off. That's where I'm up to there. Fuel gauge switch on center console. We want that on. Fuel gauge is down here. And we check, there we go. Fuel has just come to life up there. So what's that, 36 gallons, good. Fuel valve we bring to on. Fuel pump switch we bring to on. Ignition switch we bring to both, right, left, and both magnetos. And that's got one more step to actually start. Primer breaker on center console. Primer breaker, that comes to on. Mixture on panel, full rich. Now, it might make sense if I had one more slider to put this on it. So we put the mixture all the way forwards. Primer switch on center console. Hold for 3 to 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Didn't notice any audio there. Ignition switch on panel. Start. And that Continental Flat 6 springs to life. Excellent. Generator switch can come on. Where's our voltmeter? Amps is over here. And that comes up. Good. Fuel pump can now come off. Temp gauges switch on center console comes on. Temp gauges comes on. Trim mechanism switch comes on. Landing light switch comes on. Panel light switch on center console comes on. Position light switch comes on. Rotating beacon. Oh, we have to have a look at this. Oh, listen to that. Look at that rotating beacon. How awesome is that? Love it. An animated rotating beacon. I like that. I like that a lot. I do like a helicopter that idles away, a bit like the Llama, Taugs Hanger's Llama helicopter, that idles away without the blade turning. So that's what we've got here. Right, so where are we? We've done, have we done panel light switch? That panel light switch is on the center console, and that is the, that's just here. Glare shield lighting, I think so, is that right? Radio switch can come on, and that just powers up these avionics here. I'm not going to be using those for this demo flight. That's good. So, run up. Governor switch can now come on. Idle switch on the center console comes on. The low idle breaker on the center console goes in. The throttle, we slowly roll the throttle to 1500 RPM. Here's our engine here. It's sitting at about 950 now, so I'll slowly bring that up here. Oh. There we go. We're getting some action up there now. Good. Slowly coming up on the throttle, so as not to over torque the system. As we come to life. Excellent. The centrifugal clutch will slowly engage at about 1500 engine RPM. Slowly adjust throttle to 2250 RPM. Right. So I'm just rolling it up now. You can see it moving here. Good. Might have gone a touch high there. Ensure nominal ranges for our engine gauges. We're in the green, we're in the green, we're in the green. Manifold pressure won't be up yet, that's fine. Cylinder head, well, that's low. I guess that would be normal. Throttle, slowly increase throttle until governor engages. So it'll just take over once I think we get into this yellow band here, or maybe the green band. So I'm just edging up the throttle again. There we go. There it is. The governor's got it now. I can just feel it just taking it there. Check governor holding at 2950. 29. Yes, just below 3000. Oh. No, what's happened there? Just pushed it through for some reason. What, the governor's not quite seeming right there. Is the governor on? It is on. I'm edging up the throttle still. Maybe I can just leave it there now. So that all seems fine. Great. Fly. Have fun with this classic from CowanSim.com. Thanks for that. So no obvious differences there with tail rotor and main rotor sounds. There is a custom sound set. I believe it's recorded from a Hiller UH-12 helicopter. I mean, there are no CH-1 helicopters in existence anymore, so it had to be got from a similar helicopter, so that's pretty good. Oh, how could I forget the cigar lighter? Don't burn yourself. They don't make them like they used to. Alright, I can't put this off any longer. I'm going to have to fly this thing. It's a challenge. So, let's get some mass and balance happening here. Some seats. Alright, so let's just get this in here. So, we get custom people models in there. That doesn't look very comfortable, does it? We don't get the 2024 characters. We get Cowan Sim characters in here. So, when we get a full 2024 native version, I hope we can be able to use the 2024 models there. As wise and sensible as that person there looks. Yes, anyway. So, alright, so we're almost full, that's great. Now, we do have a meter here to dial in our altitude, which is pretty much sea level with our operating weight, so I think that'd be about right there. Maybe this is to help us work out our do not exceed speed. It's just that I don't quite see how that works like that, so if someone's got a bit more information on how to use the takeoff weight versus operating altitude, go ahead and tell me. I know I can line up the inner ring with the outer ring, which I've done, but then what? How do I use that to compute the next bit? Either the collective pitch as in the llama or the never exceed speed? Yeah, what's the next bit? Something else I should do actually is the carburetor air. Where are we at here? The why can't I read it here? Oh, here it is, carb air. It's in the yellow zone. Let's get out of there by pulling this out a bit. That will reduce power, but it gets me out of the danger zone there for carburetor icing, which is bad news, and a piston. Right, this is a piston helicopter. It is not blessed with an excess of power. This is not like flying powerful turbine helicopters that you are accustomed to in MSFS 2024. You need to manage this machine. You need to think ahead and be very careful with it and with what you are doing. Look at this visibility. It is stunning. There's not too many machines where you can look back and see your tail rotor. That is stunning. Stunning. Amazing visibility. And I do like how you can see down and ahead right there. Got a nice view of my skid there as well. Okay. Left cyclic, left pedal, aft cyclic as well is required. So I am now lifting collective. You can see that coming up on the input viewer, and there it is lifting as well. Whoo-wee. This is hard work, believe me. So let's see if it will come up on its left skid. We're creeping forwards. Up on the left skid, please. And don't creep backwards. Right, now we're drifting over there. Let's not do that either. It's very hard to hold a stable position in this machine, it really is. One of the more challenging machines I've flown in a simulator to hold a position in a stable fashion. I'm looking at those vehicles and trees in the background to try and keep it stable. Let's come around here on the taxi line. And just try and edge it forward slowly to keep us going around here. Okay, I'm feeling doing okay here. I've got no wind in just to make this a little bit easier today. It's very sensitive in the roll axis. And even a little bit of up pitch there cancels out all the speed. That rotor mast really takes some getting used to. Having that big block on my vision there. And notice how I'm stirring the pot there a bit, just trying to get everything stable. See that? It really loses its... Okay, that's not good. Don't hit the ground. Yeah. Just a bit of nose up pitch really bleeds off in a rapid fashion your forward taxi progress. Got it going now. Feel getting a bit high. I'll lower the collectors slowly. I'm way too high now. This is an air taxi, not a hover taxi. All right, let's just come. We'll prepare ourselves to use the full length of the runway, and I'll just show you on the map at the moment what I plan on doing here. Back onto the taxiway, please, Matthew. Bring that collective back in. Okay. Let's stop behind the taxi line here. Noise abatement. One noise I wouldn't mind abating. I wouldn't mind just maybe filtering off some of the upper frequencies, clunk, on that Continental engine. It just drones a little bit. And because it's a mono sound effect, and I just bumped up the throttle by accident. There we go. Settle back down again, please, Governor. Because it's a mono sound, it does drone in your ears a little bit. That's just the consequence of the sound set that this machine uses. So, yes, a little bit more filtering there on the engine. I'm not saying that it's unrealistic, but just for the comfort and maybe the simulating. I suppose I could turn on the headphone simulation. Might make it a bit better. I'm sitting a bit low here. Come up a bit higher. There you go. I'm even more in the way of that rotor mast now. Okay, so what's the plan here? What's our briefing? So let's get this on our plan here. Right, so Friday Harbour. I'm going to do a right-hand circuit like this, but I'm going to make it a long one so that we can get us up to cruise speed here, which is not that fast really. It's only about 95 to 100 knots in the CH-1. Okay, picking up once more. Left and left. Not enough left pedal. There's no ground contact sounds. So no skids dragging, no impact on the ground of the skids sounds. That always adds a lot in a helicopter package. The default aircraft in 2024 do it very nicely, the Yosobo ones. Okay, let us try to get our effective translation or lift happening here. Staying on the center line. I've used all of my forward. I'm going to have to use some trim here as well. Use all of my forward authority already with the sensitivity settings that I have here. And we are moving along nicely now. So because I'm using extremity dead zone so that I get a linear response on the sensitivity curve, it's not a curve, it's linear, I am not quite accessing the full range in the CH-1, and I might need to have a custom control for it. Okay, good. All right, so no VSI. Gosh, that really takes some getting used to. It really does. Don't think we need to be getting a whole lot higher than 1200. I'm going to make this a long circuit because I want to get us up to speed. Adding a little bit. Oops, a bit more collected now. So I'm only at 65 knots. There, I've already. Oh, did you hear that? A bit of a sag in the sound there. Might need to just lean this mixture slightly. All right, let's get this circuit happening. No balance ball, no yaw string. So this is a bit of guesswork here. I'm using a bit of left pedal. Blown through what I thought was going to be my altitude there. Using more forward trim. And I'm finding the relationship between trim and collective and attitude here just a little bit confusing. Still climbing. And still really only at 80 knots there. Okay, we're finally getting up to speed now. Got myself together now. Took a bit of effort. I think your attitude there is important. I'm paying attention to the disc there. It's right on the horizon. Pitching down again. Lowering the collective, interestingly. So you're not just belting along with full collective. Right, so now we're on 100 knots. So this is about as fast as it's going to get. Although now it's getting up even more. This red light always looks like it's on. It's actually not. We can probably get it on later on when I'll try something else the next time. So there's our runway. Let's start to lose height here. Lowering collective. Start to bring in some of that cyclic trim. So it doesn't fly like any other helicopter I'm used to in MSFS 2024 in terms of managing trim, attitude, and collective. But I think I can get it to work, even though maybe I'm now overspeeding it, so I will reduce the collective and I'll bring the nose up. And we'll start to close the circuit. Enjoying this lovely scenery. Feet. Alright, so just be careful here. Lifting the collective. Coming into the coast. Be interesting to know what people who have flown the Bell 47 by fly-in side, which I've not done in MSFS 2024, so it'd be interesting to know what people who have flown both this and that one make of the two different machines. I'm going to call this CH-1 as challenging to fly. It's not an easy machine to fly. You are having to pay close attention to all of the aspects of your power management. Let's get that mixture all the way back in. Managing your resources carefully, lowering collective now. Raising the nose will have the effect of getting us back in to the threshold without gaining too much speed, I hope. In fact, it should be reducing speed now, which we are. I have to think ahead. I have to think ahead all the time with this. Even more so. I mean, every helicopter you do, you need to think ahead. This one even more so. This is an advanced level helicopter to fly. There is no doubt in my mind about that. Let's see if I can get it on the piano keys. Might be a bit ambitious at this point. Oh no, maybe I can do it. As I add more power, I will need more left pedal. I failed to anticipate that. And now I'm in a bit of a mess with the cyclic. So I'll just let it edge forward and we'll get onto the numbers instead, hopefully. Oh, I'm using a lot of rear cyclic now. Aft cyclic, I should say. To try and achieve a stable hover. Wow. That... That is the challenge of flying the CH-1. Amazing stuff. Very challenging stuff. Whew. At least I got it on the center line. Just a little bit further down than what I wanted. Well, in case that was all too easy, let's try an auto-rotation. So let's get that governor off, let's get that throttle all the way down. Let's lower the collective, and let's pitch for 80 knots. We're a bit slow now, so let's pitch for 80 and start to raise the nose here. Now lift the collective to deal with the overspeed in the main rotor. Lifting the collective, now too much, lifting the collective more. Nose up, because we're going a bit fast now, so we want to get that back down to 80 knots. We're doing here for conserving our energy. Now we're going too fast, so pitching up. Still too fast. Pitching up. So I'm just having to do these little turns to try and burn this energy. Knots. Try a flare here. Now we're getting rid of some speed. That was a hard landing. Still, it auto-rotated. I think with a bit more practice and getting the flare right and just burning a bit more speed there, I think I could probably achieve a better auto-rotation. Well, not a replay to be terribly proud of here, but let's have a look at this one. And, oh, mind the tail. Oh, ouch. Ouch. I think I might have taken the tail out there. Sorry, Josh Cowan, with your precious CH-1. And I read that the CH-1 was the first helicopter to land on Pikes Peak here in Colorado. Well, my power management in this machine still requires some practice, and I didn't quite manage to get up there. This machine is a unique challenge, and that is its unique proposition. So, is it worth it for you? Well, if you're into vintage machines and you collect simulator helicopters, of course, yes it is. This one has massive quirk value. Just know that it is a real handful to fly. But some people, like me, enjoy a challenge, and coaxing every last bit of power out of this thing to get it to do what you want, well, it's kind of fun. And if you're into just the visuals, well, there's always the MSFS helicopter assists to help you out. Now, I'd like to see some improvements. I'm not hearing any ground contact sounds at the moment, and I'd appreciate some further refinement in the sound set, even if it meant ringing in some generic helicopter sounds to help blend in that engine sound to be a bit smoother and a bit easier on the ear. Something else, you do get a PDF to help you with control bindings, but I'd like to see some figures on power management and speeds and so forth. That'd be really helpful to help you get to terms with controlling this thing. Now, as I record this in April 2025, Cowan Simulation is focusing on developing the Sikorsky S-76 for MSFS 2020, and that's going to be an exciting machine. And then after that, they'll begin to update their hangar of products for MSFS 2024. So how might the CH-1 Skyhook improve when it gets native 2024 treatment? Well, I have no idea. But there's value now for lovers of vintage machines who can deal with a challenging flight experience. Please comment and share your thoughts, and I hope you'll subscribe to get more of the latest heli news in MSFS. And I hope I'll catch you for another video real soon. See ya.